This is Nala. She doesn't have thumbs, and it is very difficult for her to operate a computer. Nala thought she could play Super Smash Bros. Melee without thumbs and without a VPN. She went 0 and 2. Mostly because she couldn't hold the controller that well, but also because she didn't know about Surfshark's premium VPN services. If Nala knew that Surfshark had an 83% discounted VPN plan that included unlimited devices, a no-logs policy, high-speed connections, and 24/7 customer support, then maybe she would have squeaked out a win with her weird, thumbless controller grip. Plus, Nala doesn't really understand how the internet works, nor does she have any money, but if she did, she could get all of it back with Surfshark's 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you and my thumbless, moneyless dog waiting for? Check out surfshark.deal/Walt to earn 83% off and 3 months free. No, seriously, please take the deal. Literally none of you are getting in. Surfshark won't give me another sponsor unless you do, and Nala's getting pretty hungry, and she also has no money, and she also... How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? turndownforALT here, and welcome to the JV5, the home for Melee's craziest and most exciting moments of your favorite events. After an action-packed 2022, which proved to be one of the most exciting and competitive years across Melee's more than 20-year history, 2023 needed to start off on a high note in order to set the stage for an even bigger year of competition. And an explosion came in the form of the 9th iteration of the classic grassroots Smash event, Genesis. Though appearing to be a bit thin in terms of entrant numbers, with only 1,253 competitors making the trip out to San Jose to usher in the new year of Melee, this in no way halted Genesis 9 from becoming an absolute success. Boasting 9 of the recently released SSBM ranked 2022 top 10, as well as a large contingent of other world-class talent from across the globe, the tournament saw a multitude of performances that captivated the Melee community. And in the Season 3 premiere of the JV5, we'll be closely examining 5 of those captivating performances that made us all excited for offline Melee in 2023.
He's got it, a little trick shot from Josh, man, right there.
They forgot the first commandment, thou shalt not sleep on the kid.
Oh my goodness.
From NorCal to Pakistan and finally to Arizona, one of the great minds behind Chic today, Spark, had become a fully fledged globetrotter throughout the pandemic. Ending 2020 as the best player in all of NorCal, Spark would briefly relocate to Pakistan before officially settling in Arizona last year, where he immediately established himself as the state's best player. He also began to reaffirm his status as one of the best Sheiks in the world by placing within the top 25 at every single major he entered, while taking sets over reputable players like Bobby Big Balls, Ben, Salt, Spud, and S2J. Heading into Genesis 9 as the now official number 29 ranked player in the world on the new SSBM rankings, Spark appeared to be playing fantastically. He didn't drop a single game en route to facing top Texan Jigglypuff player SDJ in a winner's top 64 qualifier, one that he would sadly come up short in, losing 3-2. Fortunately though, this close Game 5 loss only proved to be a slight obstacle for Spark's Genesis run, as he quickly rebounded in the losers bracket. Fighting through all of Sunday against some of Melee's best, Spark embarked on a spectacular 5-set win streak, which saw him defeat JoJo, Gatsu, potent Cheek Slayers in SFAT and Aklo, and Salt before being eliminated from the tournament by Fiction at 13th place.
Can this be the return of Spark? Because Spark did not have a great 2022 with all of his controller woes. Can he defeat...
Maybe it's happening.
The number 16 player, the king of New York, and he does!
It's a whole new year for Spark. Starting off real strong.
From the time they placed 13th at CEO Dreamland, their first ever offline major tournament in 2017, it seemed as though Toussaint was destined to become one of Melee's next big rising stars. And after their stellar top 8 finish at Genesis 9, it looks as though they have finally made themselves into a household name. After easily cruising their way into winner's top 64 without even breaking a sweat, Toussaint had the gigantic task of having to play the tournament's number 1 seed, AMSA, in their very first set of the bracket. On paper, this matchup should have gone horribly for Toussaint, considering how AMSA was not only the world's number 2 ranked player, but he also holds multiple wins over the best Jigglypuff player of all time, Hungrybox. However, defying all the odds and then some, Toussaint amazingly managed to pull off the biggest upset of the tournament when they prevailed over the Yoshi King in a close 3-2 set win. Though they would fall to Plup in their next set in winner's quarters, Toussaint pulled off yet another impressive upset in loser's bracket by bopping Kadoran from the tournament to secure their first ever major top 8 spot. In top 8, Toussaint had the misfortune of having to play both one of their longtime New York compatriots as well as arguably the best player on Earth against Jigglypuff, IBDW. The two friends battled it out on Melee's biggest stage without holding anything back, and by the time the last stock was taken, it was IBDW who emerged as the winner, ending Toussaint's time in San Jose at 7th place.
Oh my goodness. It's over. The double jump to Toussaint is top 8.
Rolling up, and Toussaint takes the set, and it's up the top 8. He makes it to top 8.
There you go. Wow. There are 2 puffs in top 8, my friend.
2 puffs in top 8.
Though his sponsor may be moist, Canada's own Moki put on the most solid performance of his entire career at Genesis 9, a performance that saw him conquer one of his greatest bracket demons, as well as reach a new personal best on the international stage. Throughout the early phases of bracket, Moki hardly encountered any kind of opposition, besides being pushed to the brink by one of the Midwest marquee names, KJH, in a Game 5 scare and Round 2 pools. In top 64, after handedly dispatching SDJ, the Fox Folk hero had to do battle with Hungrybox. As noted in our JV5 on Apex 2022, Moki had yet to take an offline set from Hungrybox across their 9 previous sets, despite laying claim to 7 online victories against the Floridian. However, this wasn't the same offline Moki that Hungrybox had beaten 9 times in a row. No, this was a 2023 Moki, a Moki so newly refined and focused that he delivered onto Hungrybox a thorough 3-1 schooling, finally getting the coveted offline dub over his bracket demon. The top 10 wins didn't end there for Moki though, as he won his next set in winner's quarters over the newly christened CLG standout IBDW, notching another outstanding win in addition to making the top 8 of a US major for the first time in his career. Going into top 8 with all the confidence in the world, even tweeting out the previous night that he was going to win the tournament, Moki kicked off winner's bracket with a masterclass win over another of Melee's top brass, Plup, with a staggering 3-0. Now in winners finals of a major for the first time, Moki crossed controllers with the greatest Sheik player in the world, Jmook. Despite blazing past 3 of Melee's most stalwart players, Jmook appeared to be just too difficult of a puzzle for Moki to solve, with the Toronto native being slapped into losers finals 3-0. In losers finals, Moki had to clash with IBDW for the second time in the entire tournament. Though Moki may have won their last match by the thinnest of margins, IBDW just wouldn't be denied here in their second meeting, with him sending Moki packing from the competition at 3rd place, 3-0. The first in-person major of the year brought a few unique changes to IBDW's career. First, before playing one of his doubles matches, IBDW, in the most unexpected way possible, unzipped his coat to reveal a fresh new set of colors belonging to one of the biggest esports organizations in the US, Counterlogic Gaming. He later formally announced on his Twitter that same night that he had joined the organization as their newest Melee player. Second, he also announced that Genesis 9 would be the final time he would compete under the IBDW moniker, with him officially changing his tag to Cody Schwab the day before the event. For the majority of his run through winner's bracket, it seemed as though these changes turned out to be major blessings, as IBDW dominantly swept his way into winner's quarters without giving up any games at all. The CLG train looked to be going full steam ahead into a winner's bracket top 8 qualifier. That was until he had all the steam taken out of his winner's run by a surging Moki, who ended up casting him into the loser's bracket after a hotly contested 3-2 set loss. Although he eventually made top 8 following a near flawless performance over AMSA 3-1, IBDW found himself staring down a gauntlet of some of the most elite players on the planet. While this may have spelt doom for most players, IBDW is not like most players. He's a man that's prone to doing work. Get it? Okay, that's the last time I can make that joke. And just like what he did in the losers bracket at Smash Summit 14, IBDW went on a rampage in top 8, making it to grand finals after laying waste to Toussaint, Zane, Plup, and Moki in the run back.
I'll smash.
Oh my goodness, that was...
He said, repeat no more.
Wow. We will not have a repeat this year.
CLG's own, IBDW.
There will be a fresh Genesis champion here in 2023.
Before we unveil our top moment from Genesis 9, here are some honorable mentions which deserve their own recognition. The Mango Taj Runback. Remixed.
Mango, please!
AMSA going on a 5-set win streak in losers to place 9th.
Chance for AMSA. Oh, is that gonna be it? It is the perfect percentage again. CLG IBDW Cody Schwab taking out AMSA.
That's right.
In losers bracket.
Yeah, that's it for AMSA. That's it for the number
2 ranked player in the world. Amsa is out at this tournament now.
The entire TO staff of Genesis 9 for running everything on paper brackets when the internet died. I don't know if I really have any footage here, but just thank your TOs, guys. In retrospect, it perhaps is fitting that Jmook's ascension to becoming debatably the most prominent post-lockdown player began at last year's Genesis. According to Google, the definition of a Genesis is the origin or mode of formation of something. And this honestly couldn't speak any more true of Jmook's run at Genesis 8, where he absolutely catapulted himself into mainstream superstardom after netting a completely unprecedented second place finish. Now, 1 year later, Jmook would get the chance to reinvent himself in a new Genesis to elevate himself even further up the totem pole of Melee's elite at Genesis 9. In typical Jmook fashion, the upstate New York ninja almost effortlessly charged his way into top 8 winner semis, with his only real test coming up against SFOP in one of the most pulse-pounding Game 5 sets of the tournament. Waiting for Jmook in winner semis was none other than the #1 ranked Melee player in the world, Zayn, a player who Jmook ended 2022 tied 4-4 in offline sets against. While he might have not been able to take a set off of Zayn at Genesis 8 last year in the event's Winners Finals and Grand Finals, Jmook wound up getting the last laugh here by vanquishing Zayn from the winners bracket 3-2. After making quick work of the streaking Canadian contender Moki in Winners Finals, the final set of the tournament would ultimately boil down to a climactic showdown between two best friends when Jmook took on his fellow statesman IBDW in Grand Finals. Though New York was guaranteed a major win regardless of the outcome, only one man could hoist the trophy high above his head in triumph and bring it home to the Big Apple. And after 4 games of non-stop action, it was Jmook who managed to overcome his rival/best friend in a superb 3-1 showing to, at long last, win his first ever major tournament. In addition to this monumental event, he also carved out a piece for himself in the Melee history books by becoming the first solo Sheik main to ever win a super major. Raise your glasses high, Sheik mains. After 20 years, Jmook is your champion, and he's finally brought one home.
Jmook is your Genesis 9 champion, making history today, lighting up the venue. People have been waiting to see Jmook take home a first place. We saw the rap sheet second, but Jmook now can say that he is a Genesis champion. First place.
He quit Starbucks for this.
Yeah.
I'm turndownforALT, and this has been the JV5. Drop your favorite Genesis 9 moments in the comments, and consider supporting me on Patreon to get a ton of extra content. I'll be posting an uncut interview I got at G9 with a player you may be familiar with very soon, so you won't want to miss that. Thank you to our top tier patrons and YouTube members, Avishua Stein, Dorian, Eric is Cool, Jackson, NNG Esports, Storm, and Tingly Jungle for supporting the channel. And since you're still here, you should check out Season 2 of the JV5 and relive some of 2022's best events. So maybe click on this video and binge a bit before the next event. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.